From the actress who called Gordon Ramsay a vicious bully.
Does it make you feel better shouting in front of the blue team?
I'm not shouting in front of anybody.
Is that you have to show off?
How bloody fucking
Don't
dare
be stupid.
you?
Don't be so stupid.
I'm not showing
Don't
off.
be so stupid.
I am tired.
To the famous vegan teacher getting publicly destroyed by Ramsay.
Animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Hurting animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Share this song, and if you call me a donut, that's fine.
Vegan
As long as
donut.
you're vegan from me.
These are the 10 victims of Gordon Ramsay, starting with Joseph Tinelli, who was pushed to the point of breakdown by Chef Ramsay. Joseph wasn't a celebrity, he was a former Marine who came onto the show to prove he was a great chef, but things went south almost immediately. Joseph Tinelli is the ultimate example of what happens when Gordon picks a fight with the wrong person just to get a reaction for the cameras. Joseph wasn't a celebrity, he was a former Marine who came onto the show to prove he was a great chef, but things went south almost immediately. During an elimination lineup, Gordon asked Joseph to name the nominees from his team. Instead of just answering, Joseph got offended by Gordon's tone and snapped. He stepped toward Gordon, got right in his face, and started screaming, "I'm not no bitch."
I ain't no fucking bitch, Chef. I don't give a fuck. I ain't no bitch.
What?
I'm not no bitch.
He's trying to bring the best out of you. You gotta look
You wanna
past
bring the
this.
best out of me.
Yeah, show some respect.
Shut your fucking mouth. That's what you should do right now.
Come on, man.
I'm talking here. I don't give a fuck about you. I'm gonna come here for you.
Bitch. He even challenged Gordon to go outside to the parking lot and fight him. Gordon didn't even flinch. He just kicked him out on the spot.
Okay, answer the fucking question.
We can talk like this out in the fucking parking lot. I don't give a fuck. What do you want me to say?
I asked the fucking question, you give the fucking answers.
Fuck that shit, dog. Ain't here for that. You want a fucking jacket? You wanna talk some shit? Let's go step outside, motherfucker. I ain't here for that, dog.
While most people think Joseph was just crazy, it's a great example of how the show's pressure cooker works. Joseph felt like Gordon was trying to embarrass him and strip away his respect in front of everyone. The show didn't care about his skills or his background. They just wanted the tough guy to explode for the cameras. It was a total car crash that ruined Joseph's reputation forever. While Joseph Tinelli was a target because Gordon wanted to trigger his temper for a tough guy showdown, Elsie Ramos became a victim in a much quieter, creepier way. Elsie Ramos does not just remember shouting, she remembers fear, and she remembers it so clearly that even years later, after the noise died down and the whole machinery of the show slipped into the past,
Ow! I'm Elsie. I'm from Maywood, New Jersey.
I need a Band-Aid over here. Are you okay?
Yep. I am the mother of 3 and a stepmom to 3 others. As excited as I am, I'm terrified. I've never worked alongside of a chef. What the hell am I doing?
that feeling still sat in the center of her memory like it had never left. In the 2024 reporting tied to Vice's Dark Side of Reality TV, Ramos said everybody was afraid, and that one line changes the whole temperature of the show because fear does not sound like competition, fear does not sound like ambition, fear sounds like a room full of people bracing for impact and waiting to see whose turn comes next.
She's a former contestant on Fox's hit show Hell's Kitchen, the author of Elsie's Turkey Tacos and Arroz con Pollo, and she's raised 6 boys. So I went to Elsie's home for some Puerto Rican home cooking tips. This mom of 6, simple Latin cooking is her style and is key for getting food on the table as soon as possible. And pastelone de plátano is just one of those dishes.
Other coverage from the same wave of reporting says she felt set up and described the experience as messed up, which pushes the story beyond simple yelling and into something more manipulative, more lopsided, more rigged in spirit even before anyone says the word. Suddenly, the show stops looking like a brutal meritocracy and starts looking like a machine that knew exactly how to trap the wrong person in the right shot. And what really keeps Elsie Ramos' story alive is the distance. Time usually sands the edges off bad memories. Here, the edge stayed sharp. Years passed, and fear still owned the room.
An hour and a half serving your starters. You're very competent. Elsie, risotto looks delicious.
Paella?
Over here, yep, over here. Very nice, that Elsie, yes.
Hey, like my paella. I made a traditional chicken soup, my hangover special. All these people have tarragon and they're using all these fancy, yeah, this is braised beef with blah, 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 blah. And I've got chicken soup.
That's delicious.
The room. Then the image spreads, one outlet after another, picking up the same atmosphere, the same dread, the same portrait of contestants walking into a space where survival itself felt like part of the format. While Elsie Ramos remembered fear, Tech Moore remembered something even sharper, the feeling of being verbally torn apart. Tech Moore gives the damage a phrase so vicious and so exact that it blows right past words like mean or aggressive and lands somewhere much darker, because once you hear it, you no longer picture a chef losing his temper. You picture someone who knows exactly where to cut.
Stand by, yes? Away shortly. 5 New York strip, 1 chicken. She's not even answering me.
5 strip coming up now.
No one got my back here.
5 strip, 1 chicken walking up now.
Let's go then.
In the 2024 reporting on former Hell's Kitchen contestants, Moore said chefs know how to verbally disembowel people, and that line carries more violence in it than a whole page of softer language ever could, because it conjures precision, method, intention, the kind of verbal attack that does not just explode and disappear, but opens somebody up in public and leaves the audience staring at the wound.
Who's running the fish?
Have left Chef Ramsay
It's not possible.
in an uncomfortable position.
Get another one going, please.
So if she's helping you, still got the chicken.
Yes, chef.
Amanda,
Yes, chef.
it's served fish, yeah? More cooked than that in a sushi bar. Hurry up.
That is the darker reading of the Ramsay method, the one that strips away all the romance people attached to brutal honesty and shows the machinery underneath. Humiliation sharpened into style, cruelty polished into entertainment, dominance delivered so cleanly it almost passes for truth.
Contestants are disposable.
Tech, give me a jacket and leave Hell's Kitchen.
And that $250,000 per season that they're giving out away, he's making per episode. So, does he care about any of the people that are on it? I don't know.
And once that phrasing enters the story, so many famous Ramsay moments start changing shape. The shouting loses its heroic edge. The performance loses its glamour. What looked like ruthless brilliance begins to sound like a man turning words into blades and television into the place he liked using them. No giant scandal needs to sit on top of this section. The method already does the work. Tech Moore names it, and once she does, the injury stops hiding in the style and steps into full view. Tech Moore helps explain the emotional damage of Gordon Ramsay's method, unlike Sue Ray, whose story is about what she says happened after the cameras left. Sue Ray's story attacks Gordon Ramsay at the exact point where his television image looks strongest, because she does not say he failed to save her business. She says the intervention itself dragged the place deeper into ruin, and that flips the entire rescue show fantasy on its head. She said Ramsay's kitchen nightmares did not rescue Bonaparte's, it ruined it.
Holy fuck. This is a living fucking nightmare.
I think I better just close and put due to refurbishment.
And you should ban out gracefully, you know that.
Just been giving him another chance and another chance. I can't tolerate that. It's just going to end up. It's professional suicide, isn't it?
That reversal lands hard because everyone already knows the fairy tale these shows sell. Gordon arrives, tears through the lies, humiliates the weak owner, strips the place down to its bones, and somehow leaves it reborn. But in Sue Ray's version, the teardown stayed standing long after the cameras packed up, and the rebuild never came charging in behind it.
Restaurant owner hits back after TV nightmare.
Since then, Bonaparte's restaurant has hit rock bottom. Sue's made several rather public complaints about us.
Cooked up Ramsay's kitchen nightmares.
Whilst I'm genuinely gutted it hasn't worked out for her, I wholeheartedly deny the allegations.
It. The show aired, the damage spread, and the business took the hit. Later reporting says Ray blamed the show for canceled bookings, layoffs, antidepressants, hate mail, and a collapse in trade after the episode aired. That is not a bruised ego talking. That is fallout moving through a real business, real staff, real bills, real panic. Earlier coverage also said she planned to sue Ramsay, Channel 4, and the production company over the fallout, which takes the story out of the realm of TV drama and drops it into something much more consequential. A business owner saying the show did not just embarrass her on screen, it helped wreck the life attached to the restaurant. So in Sue Ray's telling, Gordon Ramsay does not stride in as the savior. He arrives as the event after which everything starts getting worse. While Sue Ray said Ramsay's show ruined her business, Martin Hyde went even further and challenged the whole story built around him in court. Martin Hyde does not just accuse Gordon Ramsay of being cruel or explosive. He reaches deeper and grabs the whole format by the throat because his case challenges the story itself. The way the show decides who gets framed as the failure, who absorbs the humiliation, and who walks out looking like the hero who fixed everything.
Nothing to be guilty of.
You what? No one is getting served from this restaurant tonight. This is the luckiest day of their life. okay? You go and tell them that the kitchen is closed.
Reporting on Hyde's legal action said he alleged Ramsay falsely blamed him, that some of the problems shown were fake or created to make Ramsay look like the fixer, and that the episode damaged him so badly he sued over it. That accusation does not nibble at the edges of the Ramsay myth. It attacks the engine. It says the reality may have bent to fit the performance. The reporting also says Hyde was effectively fired on camera at Ramsay's urging, and that turns the humiliation into something far more lasting, because now the show is no longer just criticizing him, it is assigning him a public identity, stamping him with failure, and letting the audience carry that version of him out into the world.
Where's that from? That's been sliced. That's gone out. What is that? Where's it? Hey, madam, where's that tomato gone? Look, it's rotten, you idiot. It's rotten. The customer just been served a slice of tomato. No. So where is it?
Oh my God.
That is what makes Hyde's story so dark. He is not simply saying, he yelled at me. He is saying, he stepped into a story, built me into the problem, and used that version of me to complete his own legend.
No one is getting served from this restaurant tonight. Let's make that clear. Yes or no? Anyone against that?
No.
No. Good.
That didn't go down too well. He was extremely angry, extremely pissed off.
We are not ever again serving any of this food. I don't give a what anyone says. Can you go and tell them that the kitchen is closed right now, out there, and tell them the truth?
And once revisit footage enters the frame, the power of that machine becomes impossible to ignore, because these shows do not just wound people in a single episode, they can freeze them in the worst role of their life and keep replaying it. Martin Hyde said Gordon Ramsay helped build a false story around him, unlike Tracy Grimshaw, who was insulted by Ramsay in public, outside the kitchen, and outside the format of his shows. Tracy Grimshaw's story strips Gordon Ramsay of every usual excuse in one move, because this time he does not stand in a kitchen, he does not hide inside a television format, he does not get to claim service pressure or competition heat. He goes out in public, says something offensive, sparks backlash, and ends up apologizing. Reporting says Ramsay made comments about Grimshaw that his own side later described as inappropriate and offensive, and once those words come from his own camp, the fog clears fast. Nobody has to speculate about whether a line got crossed.
Friday, Tracy Grimshaw and Gordon were on-air mate, but during weekend cooking exhibitions, he dubbed this pig woman slide Tracy. He also reportedly questioned her sexuality, and then...
I'm in love with Tracy Grimshaw. I've been sued for the last 10 years.
The apology already answers that question.
And I'm not going to sit meekly and let some arrogant narcissist bully me. We've all seen how Gordon Ramsay treats his wife, and he supposedly loves her.
Clearly, that hit the mark.
For me, on a personal front,
he apologized and Grimshaw accepted it.
Did I expect it to, take this course? And I have to be incredibly honest, and the tapes are there. On my children's life, I never ever called Tracy Grimshaw a lesbian. Having a reference, to innuendos, a picture of a pig, that was not clever. But I'm going to put my hand up in the air and, apologise for hurting her feelings. But also, on a personal front, it was never a vicious attack like it's been played out to be.
That sequence matters in the most brutal way possible. Insult, backlash, apology, clean, public, undeniable. No kitchen theatrics, no editing defense, no pressure cooker mythology. Just Gordon Ramsay, out in the open, landing in the same familiar territory. So Tracy Grimshaw's story widens the frame. It says this did not live only inside a TV persona. The insult spilled outside the format, outside the kitchen, outside the set, and still sounded exactly like the same old pattern. While Tracy Grimshaw's story played out in public, that vegan teacher's clash with Gordon Ramsay turned into a very different kind of spectacle, one that unfolded online, spiraled fast, and showed how easily Ramsay could turn mockery into entertainment when the target was standing right there in front of him. That vegan teacher came after Gordon Ramsay in a string of vegan call-out videos and songs, pushing him to stop eating animals and turning him into one of the recurring targets of her activism.
Animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Hurting animals is wrong, Gordon Ramsay. Share this song.
And Ramsay did not ignore her, did not sidestep her, and did not quietly move on. He answered by turning the whole thing into content, duetting her on TikTok, shoving a burger into his mouth, and calling her a vegan donut in the middle of the bit.
And if you call me a donut, that's fine.
Vegan
as long
donut.
As you're vegan.
The exchange blew up because it captured Gordon Ramsay in a form people instantly recognized. Not the chef mentoring someone, not the expert fixing a kitchen, but the entertainer locking onto a target, roasting her in public, and letting the crowd do the rest. He took her activism, reduced it to a punchline, and fed the entire feud back into the machine that always works best for him: spectacle, humiliation, and mass audience approval.
Silk milk. Apparently you're paying money to Gordon Ramsay to promote your product? How crazy is that? Don't be doing that. He doesn't care about your milk. He's not even vegan. Why would you want him to promote this wonderful product that I drink myself every day?
Now I'm sure he did not leave it there. A little later, he posted a vegan eggplant steak video with another dig aimed straight at her.
I've got a confession. I'm turning vegan.
So the video is basically Gordon showing us a vegan steak recipe. At the start, he says he's turning vegan, but at the end, he clarifies that it's only for lunch.
I'm turning vegan. For lunch.
That vegan teacher, where are you? Oh wait, which kept the feud alive and showed that once Ramsay found a target the audience enjoyed laughing at, he knew exactly how to come back for another round. So this entry plays differently from the others, but it still belongs in the world of the script because here the injury is not a restaurant collapse, a lawsuit, or a reality show breakdown. It is public ridicule, amplified at scale, with Gordon Ramsay turning the feud into a performance and millions of people consuming it as entertainment. While that vegan teacher's clash with Ramsay played out as a public online pile-on, the Fat Cow employees pulled the story away from spectacle and back into the workplace, where the allegations turned toward labor exploitation under his brand. The Fat Cow employees pull the story away from public humiliation and drag it into another kind of ugliness altogether, because now the issue is not one man shouting in a kitchen.
Look at the mess of this place! It's ridiculous!
You've probably seen Kitchen Nightmares, the one where he shouts at people to get their house in order.
You'll kill everybody!
He makes a career off going into restaurants and telling them how to properly run their business.
Now the issue is wages, breaks, overtime, labor law, and the possibility that the prestige attached to Gordon Ramsay's name may have covered a workplace where employees say exploitation took root.
There were handwritten paychecks sometimes. There was no accounting at all.
I mean, this sounds like it was just disorganized rather than sort of malevolent.
Oh no.
You should be able to go to the bathroom when you need to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Reporting says 4 former employees of Ramsay's Los Angeles restaurant filed a class action lawsuit alleging missed meal breaks, unpaid overtime, and minimum wage violations. That shifts the frame immediately. The story no longer revolves around hurt feelings or reality TV cruelty. It lands in payroll, hours, documentation, and the daily mechanics of how workers say they got treated. Other coverage from the time says workers believed they were stepping into the world of a global celebrity chef and instead ended up alleging labor abuse. That contrast does a lot of the work on its own. Glamour above the door, grievance behind it. Some reporting also noted uncertainty over whether Ramsay himself knew the details, so keep the framing clean and fair. These were allegations tied to his restaurant world and his brand, but even with that caution in place, the image remains brutal. The same name that sells excellence to the audience ends up sitting above a lawsuit alleging exploitation. While the Fat Cow employees said the Ramsay brand masked exploitation, the injured Hell's Kitchen contestant represents the most literal kind of harm on this list: physical injury. The list ends where metaphor runs out and the body enters the frame, because this final entry does not lead with humiliation, reputation, or money. It leads with injury. Trade and Wire coverage from 2004 reported that a contestant on the US version of Hell's Kitchen sprained his ankle after falling during an alleged clash with Ramsay. Once that detail enters the story, the argument changes instantly. The whole mythology around intensity, performance, and television pressure loses its shield, because now somebody has not just been verbally crushed or publicly humiliated, somebody has hit the ground and gotten hurt. Reporting also says the production company later paid out around £67,000 to settle the matter out of court, which keeps the story from floating away as rumor or backstage gossip. Money entered, a settlement entered. The incident stayed real. One report also quoted Ramsay as saying the contestant had wound him up, that he got angry, and that the injury was not intentional. Even with that denial sitting there, the shape of the story does not soften. Anger still enters the frame. A clash still enters the frame. An injury still enters the frame. And that is exactly where the Ramsay myth loses its last layer of protection. kitchen, because once physical harm replaces interpretation, the audience no longer argues about tone or editing or whether a chef simply pushed too hard for excellence. They are left staring at the ugliest version of the story, a clash, an injury, and a payout. While the injured Hell's Kitchen contestant represents the most literal kind of harm on this list, Amanda Berry shows how Gordon's bullying can break a person down until they snap. Amanda Berry, who hated her time back at Hell's Kitchen. This was before Gordon was a global superstar, and one of his first victims was a famous British actress named Amanda Berry. She thought she was joining a cooking contest, but she ended up in a nightmare. The big moment happened during a super stressful dinner service. Gordon was screaming and pushing everyone so hard that Amanda finally snapped. In a clip that's still famous today, she actually tried to hit him because she felt like he was cornering her and trying to make her have a mental breakdown on national TV. She didn't see it as tough love, she called him a vicious bully. Years later, Amanda didn't hold back about what happened behind the scenes. She said the whole show was basically rigged to humiliate people. The producers weren't looking for good food, they were looking for the exact moment someone would cry or explode. She even claimed the stress was so bad that some contestants had to take tranquilizers just to stop their nerves from shaking. She proved that Gordon's angry chef act isn't just for show, it's a force that actually hurts people. To her, he wasn't a genius, he was just the guy making everyone miserable for views.